Wow, what a week. There's been so much going on, as I'm sure you know. Some of it applies to Idaho and housing. How's that? Let's find out next. Dave Edwards, Treasure Valley Dave here, and today there's so much going on that I just had to throw this video together to find out what it kind of means to you. So let's get right into it, but I wanted you to stay around to the end. I have a shocking piece of information to give to you. Let's stick around. All right, so what's going on? Well, here's our great webpage. Hey, make sure you guys check this out. And then go to that resources button over here because we've got some great stuff for you guys. It's all for free. You can download all these great informational things. It's perfect. Anyway, so one of the things is just yesterday, Boise Dev came out with this article. After several months of decrease, home value prices increased slightly in the Treasure Valley. So this isn't a market update video, but this does have some things in there I think that are going to be important by the time we get to the end of this video. So one of the things is that the median price of a home ticked up in October, both in Ada and Canyon counties, and those are the two counties that make up the Treasure Valley, in the first increase after several months of decrease. So it sounds like we're having a little correction there, and now things maybe are starting to bottom out. In Ada County, the price has gone up 4% from September, and the price came up year over year for Ada County. It came up 5.1%. So in Canyon County, it was 1.8 from last month and 3% from last year. Do you remember the old days where 3% a year in home appreciation was pretty much standard? That's kind of what you could count on. That was kind of like the baseline. And so then that's what we've had. We've been normal, if you want to look at it like that, in Canyon County and maybe Ada County for this past year. Yeah, I know it's been a rocky road to get here, but the end result is that's kind of what it is. Check this out too. So the blue is Ada County prices, and the red is Canyon County. And see, we had a peak back in May, and then things have been coming down, but then things have been ticking up a little bit. Similar down here in Canyon County. Now this gray line, this is the national average. So you can see Canyon County is right about there with the national average. So if you're thinking, gosh, do I leave California and move to Texas or Florida or Idaho? And you say, oh my gosh, Boise's like so way overpriced. Well, we can still consider the Boise area out here in Canyon County, and we're right there at the national average. So no, we're not overpriced in Canyon County. Ada County, and it's great over there, and if you got to live there and you want to save that extra 10 minutes of driving every morning, and it's worth it for that extra $100,000, let's just make that happen. But we do see a lot of people that say, you know what, I'm okay with Canyon County. Just moving on, inventory has dropped slightly from September to October. Okay, so that's going to also, less inventory means a little bit more pressure on, the old economic law of supply and demand. The average time it took to get a deal, so this would be like the days on the market for you that are watching your houses on Zillow or Realtor.com or whatever. So it came down slightly in Ada County, but in Canyon County, it actually went up. And I wonder if that doesn't have to do with all the new construction, Hubbles, CBHs, and things like that, where they eventually, their systems, their supply chain, they made enough houses, and then all of a sudden the market changed, and it's like, well, we already got them going, we have to finish them. So maybe that has to do with extra inventory because we're building more out here in Canyon County. This was interesting too. The number of homes sold is pacing well behind recent years. The last time that houses sold less than what they had in this last year was back in 2015. Now, who wouldn't want to get in their DeLorean, get up to 88, go back to 2015, you guys know what I mean, and then buy a house then? That would be what I'd want to do. So maybe we do see, well, let's just leave it at that. we'll get to some more things here in a second. Interest rates, did you see that they came down yesterday? So what are they now? 6.6 for a 30-year fixed. And then they have some different products like your VA products, or maybe you can get by with a 15-year. Wow, if you can go 15, one thing, Dave Ramsey says this, when you get a 15-year mortgage, it always pays off no longer than 15 years. Wonder how that works. And here's a graphic of what it actually looks like. You can see just recently that we hit some pretty big highs up here. The blue one's a 30-year fixed, and then it's kind of messing around, and then it came down. So that was yesterday, and it came up, just looks like a little tiny bit today. But interest rates are down. Are they where they were before? Obviously not, but maybe things have changed. So we have a little bit more inventory. We have prices coming down, kind of like bottomed out, and now they're starting to bounce back up a little bit. I wonder if some of it has to do with what was happened earlier this week. So I'm just comparing, say, California to Idaho, because we get a lot of people from California considering Idaho. So one of the things that I noticed about that, and just a comparison, nothing good or bad, right? So something else that might have an impact on what's going on with prices and demand and stuff is what happened earlier this week. We had that election, remember?
Hi, good night, everybody.
And however you felt about how it went, this is what happened. So let's take a look at, for instance, this is the Senate race. So in Idaho, our Republican won, and the Democrat had, who didn't win, had 170,000 people that voted for him. So in California, though, we had the Democrat won with over 3.6 million people, and the Republican had not won. But this is the number that kind of interests me, though. There's 2.5 million people that voted Republican in California that are not going to be represented. It's like, And I suppose you could say the same thing in Idaho. Is like, well, there's going to be 170,000 Democrats that aren't represented. But you know what? We still afford them every right that they have. We don't beat them up and bash them and screw them over like maybe Democrats do Republicans in California. What about the House race? Wow, look at that. Idaho's all red. We had 2 seats and they both went for Republicans. California, you had 36 seats, 30 went to Democrats, 6 to Republicans. So it just looks to me like, I don't even know what that percentage is, but there's a whopping amount of Republicans that aren't being represented at all. And then the governor, I'm sure that's an important thing. So California, obviously Newsom won, but look at that. It wasn't like a really lopsided thing. I mean, there's a big difference there, but there's still 2.6 million Republicans that have no voice, that just keep voting harder every time, and still nothing happens. And I don't know that that's ever going to change. But maybe you say the same thing for Idaho in reverse. So we had 60% go for Brad Little. We had a 3-way race, and that was kind of where you see the discrepancy is. We had 60% vote for Brad, 20% vote for the Democrat, and then obviously the remainder voted for the third parties. So anyway, where I'm going with that is, if the stuff hits the fan, if Republicans don't win the Senate and they only have the House, and it's McCarthy that's still in charge of the House, and do you really think anything's going to change coming out of the Biden administration? As far as how it impacts the nation. He just said recently, like last week, they're going to stop drilling oil, they're going to stop mining coal, they're just putting the big kibosh on energy.
It's energy surrounds us.
binds us.
And it takes energy to grow food. And it's like, so what's going to happen? Well, I tell you what, if that scenario happens, and the president said it was, he came out of his own lips, where do you want to be when all that does happen?
Come on. Where do you want to go?
Do you want to be in California where it's already miserable? And I'm talking to conservatives that might be who are not happy with where they are and might be considering moving out.
It's not safe here, and we need to leave now.
When all this happens, do you want to be where, you don't have any support? And by support, I mean, access to energy and food and things like that. You don't have any guns. So, when the hoarding mobs, you've seen all those shows, the zombies or whatever. It's like when you get LA's doesn't have food for 3 or 4 days, what's going to happen? It's going to be like zombies, and it's going to be, it's not going to be pretty. Well, maybe the federal government will come in and remember that little hurricane issue that we had down in Louisiana that one time? Anyway, I digress. But when the stuff hits the fan, I'd rather be in Idaho. We have all sorts of water, and from the water we get our food. We also get electricity. So we have that. We have our main source for heat is natural gas. We have abundance of natural gas up here. So yeah, I'd rather be up here when all that stuff hits the fan. So what's that last bonus thing I had for you? Well, first, if you like this video, please go ahead and like, share, subscribe. I know it's a little bit of a Debbie Downer, but there's a lot of stuff going on this week. I just had to get it out there and share with you. Go to our website, www.treasurevalleydave.com. Hit that resources tab and check all that stuff out. And here's that. Oops. Hi, Jack. Here's that special thing for you. One of our clients said, "Oh no, I just received my electric bill. Don't know what. There must be something wrong. It's only $67." Yeah, how much is your electric bill? And no, he does not have solar. And some other people are saying, the same thing. Like the only outrageous bills around here are the ones on the geese. Aw, that's so cool. So that was our little bonus. Thanks for sticking around. Go to our website, subscribe to this video, and thanks for being there. Until next time, Dave Edwards, looking forward to helping you get home.